You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
A great opportunity here in Jefferson County, right outside the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
Our LCMS brothers and sisters serving their neighbors, and excited to share that opportunity with you today. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for your support of the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us today, the Reverend Kyle Castens. He's pastor at Immanuel Lutheran Church in Festus, Missouri. Pastor Castens, thanks for joining us today.
Andy and Sarah, thanks for having me this morning.
Grace Day has become a tradition. I believe this is year 7. And I know we've had the opportunity to share this story here on KFUO a number of times, and excited to share Grace Day 2021 or Grace Day number 7. How did this all begin, Pastor Castens?
Yeah, Andy, actually, it had its beginnings as the Lord worked and orchestrated this at Zion Lutheran in Hillsboro. And actually, up until this year, the Grace Day events, which started off as Zion Lutheran Grace Day and then became Jefferson County Grace Day, were all held on the campus of Zion Lutheran over in Hillsboro. So this is the first year that Grace Day is hosted at another site. So here at Immanuel Lutheran in Festus and Crystal City.
What are the needs of the community in Jefferson County and also around Immanuel, that church proper too?
Yeah, so Sarah, that's a great question. And the needs, of course, are many and various. And the intent, just as the previous Grace Day events, the intent of this one is to meet those many and various needs. So to kind of boil it down, first of all, Grace Day is on August 7th. So we are looking at some of the needs that need to be met for children, families as they're going back to school. So clothing, socks and undergarments and shoes and backpacks, things like that. So again, a lot of these daily bread needs to help the folks who are in need. But some of the other things, though, that we want to have available are things that kind of extend beyond Grace Day, and that they may be services that we can't provide at Grace Day, but still are necessary services to meet needs. So as folks come through the line at Grace Day, and by the way, this is going to be a drive-through event still, under the effect of COVID, we are going to have different resource organizations available that folks could be able to get some contact information to receive some ongoing help as well.
Share with us a story from years past. I know that you have, I know that Grace Day has been going on for several years now, and just the ways that that you're able to connect with the neighbors and meet some of their earthly needs, but also to be able to have meaningful and helpful conversations as well. What are some of the stories that have come out of Grace Day in the past?
Yeah, Andy, again, a great question. So one of the things is that I believe that the folks of our area and surrounding areas, they know that this is, I'll put it this way, this is an event that they can trust, that there's going to be people there who love them, who are living in God's grace, exhibiting God's grace with grace gifts, and no questions asked. So, the Lord has given it that reputation. And so each and every year now, I think, part of this story is it's an event that people can look forward to as a place where they're going to meet people who are not just generically friendly, but who are joyfully friendly in Jesus Christ, and who are sharing that as a part of their life to those who are in need. They don't feel threatened when they come. They look surprised. Sometimes I think that's one of my memories, that that there are no questions asked, but they simply receive. We do have our local pastors available too, who can just kind of work through the crowd. So if there's something that folks just want to talk with a pastor concerning. There's that availability. And at the same time, Sarah and Andy, that there's a lot of fellowship that develops amongst the volunteers. There's a great, rapport that develops among the volunteers as it may look at times that folks are going a thousand different directions, but it's so orchestrated and how the Lord uses the captains just to make sure that everything is done decently and in good order.
Have you noticed, because now we've gone through a year of COVID, have you noticed the needs in the community changing? Since this is an event that's been going on for several years now, how have the needs kind of changed? How have you changed this event in order to meet needs that may be different now than they were 3 or 4 years ago?
Sarah, so as far as the nature of the event, the main thing that's changing is just so that, again, we respect everything that we have learned through COVID. So that's the main thing that has changed is just the configuration, how we approach the folks who are in need. As I mentioned before, being a drive-through event. That's the part that we really have to make sure is well orchestrated. So there's going to be just one way into the event and one way to exit the event. And we're actually using, God bless them, Sacred Heart Parish, which is right next to us, their former school parking lot as a staging area. And then as folks' orders are filled, they'll come in car by car to line up outside of our Family Life Center. As far as though the particular needs that are being met, those really kind of remain the same. We focus on those areas that I had mentioned before, from the backpacks to the socks, the shoes, the undergarments, and then some of those other community resources available. Now, what has also changed, though, there have been there's been some necessity to kind of, not be able to include some pieces of the previous Grace Days. So, in the past, there's been like a dental wagon and things like that. We hope that in the near future, we'll be able to offer those resources again as the Lord continues to get us through this whole era of COVID.
Who all is involved in Grace Day this year?
Well, I'm going to start right off here, Andy. Sarah and you are. I appreciate your involvement right here this morning and just allowing a little bit of time that I could share just some overall details of the event. So I just really appreciate the role that the Lord is giving both of you just to give us a moment to say something about this wonderful event that, again, we're looking to serve maybe about 1,000 people with this event. As far as the volunteers go, they're coming from our local church communities mainly, from Zion Lutheran in Peevely, Zion in Hillsboro, Immanuel in Barnhart, Immanuel, of course, right here in Festus, St. John's in Arnold, St. Paul in Imperial, and then Cedar Hill Lutheran over in Cedar Hill.
How does this event, this big event with all of these churches coming together, how does this kind of fit into the ways that you serve the community the rest of the year?
Wow. Okay. Sarah, I appreciate that question. That is a question that we have been talking about, and not that we want to put, all the eggs in one basket here, but to look at, the opportunity that Immanuel has to host Grace Day as an opportunity of a catalyst. That we have so many folks who are just stepping up to the plate in ways that maybe they haven't before. And what we want to communicate to them is, the Lord's areas of ministry don't operate just one day a year. Here's a great way for us to be involved. But what about the Sunday following and the Monday following and the Tuesday and on down the line? So one of the things that we look at with this event, Sarah, and particularly being hosted here at Immanuel, is look at what the Lord does through us. And he's already doing through us in ways sometimes that go unnoticed. Now, how can we, as maybe even different mission groups within a congregation, maybe it's an adult Bible study group or a men's group or a women's group, how can we come together in similar fashion and have a ministry goal in front of us and work together to meet that for the other 365 days of the year? And so there are folks here that are voicing that fact that I just mentioned, that we really see Grace Day as being that catalyst to keep moving us forward, broadening our awareness of the needs that are there continuously in our community. There's already things that we're doing, have been doing, and things we can continue to do. And we pray the Lord to sharpen our skills so that we would always have a keen eye to those who are in need in our community, and maybe new ways to reach out to them.
Is there anything else that you still need for this year?
So, Andy, I knew, of course, and thank you for the question. I knew you were going to ask that question because you told me you were going to ask that question. And so I asked our director, our coordinator for Grace Day, and she has crafted a prayer. And really, that is the overall answer to that question. Just we need prayer, that the Lord would continue to direct and guide this event. But if I may, I'd like to share some of the bullet points that she offered in this prayer. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So first, that as the Lord brings us together in His service, as we've been given freedom in Jesus Christ to serve and to love and serve our neighbor, that the Lord would fill us with His wisdom and love, so that we would share that in serving our community. To help the people who serve as personal shoppers to see beyond faces and appearances, and to find the precious souls, the lives that Jesus Christ died to save. To help our team captains to be efficient, thoughtful, helpful to the personal shoppers as they fill orders. It's going to be a hectic morning, that the Lord would help our entrance and our exit people in the significant role that He gives them, to welcome volunteers with smiles, with encouragement, and to do things in good order and decently, to keep records accurately of what goes on that day. To be with our automotive team to quickly and efficiently spot problems and fix or report them to the family asking for help. To help the under shepherds, the pastors, just to be at the right place, to be at the right time, to give counsel and prayer to those who need it most. A prayer to help all of our volunteers, leaders, advisors, coordinators, to gather all the loose ends, to be in the details and bring together a work of love on this Grace Day 2021. And then finally, that the Lord would be in every action, every thought, every move, that the name of Jesus Christ will be glorified through what is our feeble efforts, but which we at the same time recognize as His vocations for us. So Andy, that's what can still be done, is we ask that that you friends in Jesus Christ would keep this event and all of its participants in prayer.
Very good. And this is coming up Saturday, August 7th. How can we learn more information about Grace Day 2021?
Yeah, the best route there would be to go to Immanuel's website, www.ilcfestus, all one word, .org. Then also, you could give us a call at 636-937-5525, 636-937-5525.
Very good, very good. Our guest today, the Reverend Kyle Castens, pastor at Immanuel Lutheran Church in Festus, Missouri. Pastor Castens, thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour.
Andy, Sarah, thank you for your time.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.